Let's talk a little bit about selling. Selling is not only about choices. Selling is about helping people make the right choice. Do people want choices? Of course they want choices. People don't want decisions forced upon them. They want to be able to choose. But what people also want is for someone to help them to make the right choice. And that's where we come in. If it was simply about choice, we could just come up with a whole bunch of different services or products, put them on a shelf, and people would come to us. But it's not that. It's about marrying our menu of services to the needs of the customer. And in order to do that, we have to know what the customer wants. And in order to know what the customer wants, we're going to have to ask more questions. Sit back, listen, interpret their need, and then bring our value proposition to them to marry that particular need. Often we fall into the trap of throwing our entire value proposition at the customer. Think of a seller and you're trying to lock in an exclusive listing. Hey, Mr. Seller or Mrs. Seller, I've got this and I'm great at what I do and I've done 10 sales in the last month and I'm going to advertise on the website and I've got this great presentation and brochure and we're going to put it in the newspaper and we've got 100 agents in our office and effectively what I'm doing is vomiting my whole value prop on top of the seller. Whereas actually all they were interested in was possibly 2 elements of what I had to offer. Well, that's where the questioning comes in. Ask as many questions as you can up front. Try and identify and make notes and try and identify exactly what it is that the seller's touch points are. You're listening, you're making notes, and once you've then discerned what that is, you can bring your value proposition to the table. There was a simple study once done. 2 different days. At this particular stall, the scientist was selling jams. 35 different types of jam were laid out on the table at this fair. On day 2, only 6 types of the same jam were laid out on the table. What's interesting was, on day 1, many more people came to the table that had 35 different jams. But what was interesting is there were far more purchases of jams on day 2 when there were only 6 available. Sometimes choice is good, but sometimes it can get in the way. And that's where you and I come in. Our role is to help people make a decision, probably the biggest decision in their life, but to help them make that decision where they otherwise wouldn't have been able to make it on their own. I'm certainly not advocating being pushy. No one likes a pushy salesman. But asking more questions will give you more answers, and the more answers you have, the easier it is to formulate something that marries that person's needs, whether they're a seller or whether they're a buyer. I look forward to catching you all soon. Bye.